विज्ञानसारथिर्यस्तु मनः प्रगृहवानरः सो अध्वनः पारमाप्नोति तद्विष्णुः paramam padam. Namaste to all. This is 9th shloka of Kathopanishads Tritiya Valli 3/9, where Yamacharya is giving a Brahma Vidya or giving the deep secrets on Brahma Vidya to Nachiketa on how to realize Almighty God, or which person actually realizes Almighty God. Mahacharya beautifully explains Kathopanishad every time. Every time he speaks on Kathopanishad, he goes into deep secrets which is not available as explanations in books. So based on the knowledge what I have received from my Acharya, I am just trying to explain this shloka to you. First is Tad Vishnuhu Paramam Padam. So Paramam Padam Vishnuhu. Vishnu does not mean the imaginary God who is sleeping on a snake bed in sea water or river water. That is an imagination of Vishnu Purana or other Puranas, which is not the right Vishnu. Vishnu means the name of Almighty God mentioned in the Vedas. Vishnu means Vishlari Vyapto Vishnuhu, that Almighty God who has the quality of being omnipresent. That's why his name is called as Vishnu. So Tad Vishnuhu Paramam Padam. Paramam Padam means the supreme state, the supreme stage of Almighty God, because Almighty God is in indestructible bliss. The bliss of Almighty God is at the highest stage and never destroyed and never gets over. Tad Vishnuhu Paramam Padam means that Almighty God who is at infinite bliss. Yamacharya is saying that how do we attain that Paramam Padam, that stage, or how do we realize Almighty God? Nachiketa, Vijnana Sarathiryasthu Manaha Pragraha Va Naraha. Naraha here means human being. Naraha does not only indicate male. Naraha means human being, both male and female. Many people have this wrong opinion that only male or only men are eligible to attain moksha. That is absolutely wrong. Both men and women are eligible to attain moksha, because the moksha is awarded to the soul, not to the body. So here Naraha means actually it is indicating the soul. So Rishi is saying that soul, Nachiketa, that soul will realize Almighty God. The human body is like a chariot, and in that chariot, when we see a chariot, there is a horse. There is a rope tied to the horse, and the rope is in the hand of the driver. The driver is driving the chariot, and there is a owner who is sitting, who is telling to the driver, go there, go here, etc. So Rishi is giving this kind of comparison that human body is like a chariot. Inside the chariot, Naraha, that soul, is the owner of the chariot. God has given this chariot to us, Nachiketa, for us to go to the Vishnu Loka, for us to go to the Vishnuhu Paramam Padam, for us to attain Almighty God. So you are the owner of this chariot. Sarathihi. Sarathi is the driver. Vijnana Sarathi. Vijnana means that Sarathi is actually your intellect, Nachiketa. And Vijnana, Jnana means that intellect is having the knowledge of Vedas. Vijnana here indicates that intellect is a pious intellect, because that Naraha is doing tapasya, he is learning Vedas from his Acharya. He is also implementing, practicing Vedas on a daily life. Because of the knowledge of Vedas, that intellect has become pious intellect. So if there is an intellect which is having the quality of Vijnana, having the quality of the knowledge, and if that is the driver of the chariot, and that driver is having in his hands the rope is the mind. So here the intellect is controlling the mind. and the soul is controlling the intellect, and the mind is controlling the horses, which is the senses. So usually we get distracted by our sensory organs. The horse is seeing the road, horse is trying to escape from here, from there, it is trying to go on its own way, but the mind, the rope, is controlling the horse, because the rope is controlled by the intellect, and the intellect is learned of Vedas. The intellect is knowledgeable of Vedas. So Rishi is giving this beautiful knowledge. That person who is having the knowledge of Vedas controls his mind, and the mind controls the organs, the sense organs. Thereby, so advanaha param, advanaha here indicates the chariot will go on the path of the moksha. Param means even it will cross the path and attains the moksha, because the chariot is controlled by a learned intellect. So that is the secret given by Rishi in this shloka. So when we are learned of Vedas, for us to learn Vedas, again we have to go to the fundamentals. Nobody can be learned of Vedas without an acharya, because Vedas are not books. Vedas are the knowledge which emanates from the mouth of acharya. And then acharya is a person who has attained that Tad Vishnu who paramam padam, who has attained samadhi. And in samadhi, that acharya has realized the Vedas knowledge. So based on the realization, based on his own tapasya, he gives the knowledge of Vedas to his disciples. So the fundamentals is, again, we can be learned of Vedas only when we go to an acharya. And we can be learned of Vedas only when we follow the Vedas knowledge, what we learn from the acharya in our life. Otherwise, just listening Vedas from acharya and spending our time in materialistic articles of this world will spoil us, will not take us to the Brahma Loka or Vishnu Loka. So the fundamentals is very clear that we should have an acharya who is learned of Vedas. And after going to that acharya, we serve the acharya every day, listen Vedas knowledge, and do everyday tapasya, everyday agnihotra, everyday sandhya upasana, everyday ashtanga yoga, pranayam, etc., etc. Then our mind, our intellect becomes pure. Once our intellect becomes pure, intellect will direct the mind to do only those deeds which are pious Vedic deeds. And by doing these deeds, so advanaha, so means indicating that person, advanaha param, then he crosses the path of moksha and attains moksha. So that is the secret in this shloka. It's impossible to get this kind of explanation from any book. I'm just trying to explain to you what I have understood from my acharya. I hope you understood. Thank you so much. Namaste. Om.